The panic is real. The suffering is real. But ask yourself, who benefits from you being afraid right now? Not who caused the problem. Who benefits from your fear? Your compliance? Your surrender of freedom in exchange for a promise of safety? There is a version of you that hasn't learned to ask that question yet. A version that sees a crisis and runs toward the nearest authority. A version that believes that if the news says panic, you should panic. That if the experts demand action, you should comply. That version is not weak. It's engineered. Machiavelli taught us that whoever desires to found a state and give it laws must start by assuming that all men are bad and ever ready to display their vicious nature whenever they may find occasion for it. Systems built on this assumption do not earn your loyalty. They manufacture your terror instead. They keep you running, scared, grateful for any hand that promises to pull you out of the fire, even if that same hand lit the match. The dog runs toward the authority promising safety. The wolf asks, who lit the fire? Right now, we're not talking about conspiracy theories. We're talking about the architecture of manufactured fear, how it's built, who profits, and how you can build your own resilience so the fear no longer owns you. If you're done being a puppet of panic, type calm in the comments. Let's step outside the fire. Number 1. Crisis architecture. Every manufactured emergency follows the same structure: trigger, amplification, savior, compliance. The same pattern across centuries? Trigger, an event, real, exaggerated, or entirely fabricated, that generates fear. Amplification. Media, politicians, and social platforms amplify the fear, often competing to be the loudest. Savior. A figure or institution emerges with the solution, always one that requires your compliance, your money, or your freedom. Compliance. You accept measures you would never accept in a calm moment, grateful for the rescue. The dog experiences each phase as reality. The wolf watches the architecture and asks, who designed this? Who benefits? Next time a crisis dominates the news, map it to the 4 phases. Identify the trigger, the amplifiers, the savior, and the compliance demanded. You'll start to see the pattern, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. Number 2. Economic fear. Fear is not just an emotion, it's an economy. Someone profits from your panic. The second machinery is fear economics, mapping who gains financially, politically, and institutionally from your sustained anxiety. Financial profiteers, industries that sell solutions to the crisis. Pharmaceuticals, security, surveillance, insurance. Political profiteers, leaders who gain power, funding, or extended authority during emergencies. Institutional profiteers, agencies and organizations that expand their budgets, reach, and control during crises, and rarely shrink back afterward. The dog feels fear and reaches for his wallet. The wolf asks, who is selling me something right now? Identify one product, policy, or service that has been sold to you as a solution to fear. Ask yourself, did this exist before the crisis? Will it disappear after? The answer tells you whether the crisis is genuine or manufactured. Number 3. The problem reaction solution loop. This is the most elegant control mechanism ever invented. The problem. A crisis is introduced or amplified. The reaction. The public demands action. The solution. The pre-existing solution is offered, one that the public would never have accepted without the fear. The loop is self-sealing. The problem creates the demand. The solution was ready before the problem appeared. The dog thinks the solution is a response. The wolf knows the solution was waiting in the wings. Look back at a major policy change in your country over the last decade. Was it debated calmly before a crisis? Or was it rushed through during a moment of fear? The timing tells you everything. Number 4. The historical pattern matching. Manufactured crises are not new. They are ancient. The technology changes, the psychology does not. The fourth machinery is historical pattern matching. Case studies across different eras that use the same psychological playbook. The Spanish flu and the rise of public health surveillance. The Great Depression and the expansion of government power. Post 9/11 and the surveillance state. Financial crashes and bailouts that transfer wealth upward. The dog thinks each crisis is unique. The wolf sees the same moves, different costumes. Read one historical account of a past crisis. Not the official narrative, but the debates that happened at the time. You will find the same arguments, the same fears, the same promises. History doesn't repeat, but human nature does. Number 5. Media as emotional amplifier. News cycles are not designed to inform you. They're designed to keep you watching. And fear keeps you watching longer than anything else. The fifth machinery is media as emotional amplifier. How news cycles are structurally designed to maximize emotional contagion and temporarily suspend independent critical thought. Breaking news banners create false urgency. Repetition makes rare events feel common. Emotional footage bypasses your prefrontal cortex. Expert talking heads argue over details while the frame of the debate is already set. The dog watches, feels, and reacts. The wolf asks, "What am I not being shown? Who owns this channel? What is their incentive?" For 1 week, consume news from a source outside your usual bubble. Not to agree, to compare. Notice how the same event is framed differently. The framing is the manipulation. Number 6. Institutional beneficiaries. Every crisis produces winners. The sixth machinery is identifying exactly which entities gain power, funding, or mass compliance every time a crisis escalates. Agencies that receive budget increases. Corporations that receive contracts. Politicians who extend their authority. Technologies that become mandatory. The dog assumes the beneficiaries are incidental. The wolf knows, in a manufactured crisis, the beneficiaries are rarely accidental. Next time a crisis is declared, wait 2 weeks. Then search. Who benefited from that particular crisis? The answers will be waiting. Number 7. The Calm Audit. How do you evaluate a crisis narrative without being swept away by fear? The seventh machinery is a personal decision framework. Ask yourself 4 questions before allowing the crisis to alter your behavior or beliefs. 1. Is this crisis affecting me directly, or am I being told to be afraid? 2. Who is amplifying this message, and what do they gain from my fear? 3. What solution is being offered, and was it ready before the crisis? 4. What would I do differently if I waited 48 hours before reacting? The dog reacts immediately. The wolf waits, audits, and then decides. The next time you feel the urge to act out of fear, write down the answers to these 4 questions. Then wait 48 hours. See if the urgency still feels real. Number 8. Parallel safety. The final machinery is not about identifying the crisis. It's about building your own resilience so the fear of collapse no longer functions as a leverage point over you. Parallel safety means building systems outside institutional control. Financial, savings, assets, income streams not dependent on a single employer or market. Social, relationships and communities not mediated by platforms. Informational, sources of news and analysis that are not algorithmically amplified. Practical, skills and supplies that reduce dependency on fragile supply chains. The dog trusts the system to protect him. The wolf builds his own lifeboat. not because he expects disaster, but because he refuses to be held hostage by the fear of it. Identify one area where you are most dependent on fragile systems. Start one small parallel alternative this week: an emergency fund, a garden, a skill, a direct relationship. The goal is not paranoia, it's freedom. Let this sink in. Which current crisis has altered your behavior in ways that primarily benefit someone else? Not the crisis that affected you directly, the one where you changed what you do, who you trust, what you buy, what you believe, and someone else profited. And if you consumed no news for 1 month, no headlines, no alerts, no breaking banners, which ongoing emergencies would quietly resolve themselves without your attention? The dog cannot imagine not watching. The wolf knows that most fires go out when no one is looking. This week, practice one machinery, just one. Maybe you map a crisis to its 4 phases. Maybe you identify who profits from your fear. Maybe you audit your news consumption. Maybe you build one small piece of parallel safety. You're not trying to become paranoid. You're trying to become someone who sees the fire and asks who lit it. If this episode landed, if you've ever felt the quiet squeeze of manufactured fear, then subscribe. You're choosing to see the architecture. In the next roadmap, we move from defense to social mastery. How to navigate the game once you know the rules. The dog runs toward the authority, promising safety. The wolf asks, who lit the fire? Master the game, guard your mind.